Yes. Present.
Yes.
Ma'am. Okay. Thank you. We'll call the April 4th meeting of the Design Review Board to order, please. Roll call.
Will you please turn on your microphones or they cannot hear you? Arnold, your mic is not on. Oh, is it? Okay, you need to lean into it because you can't hear it if you don't. Sorry.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Yep, I can hear you now.
It's the first time I've never been told I couldn't hear him.
Sorry.
Ever.
Understood. Okay, we have one item of business on the agenda this afternoon, and it deals with consideration of some new murals. And we'll take care of this first, and then Mrs. Ann Rollins is here, and we'll be happy to entertain what she wants to volunteer to us after we take care of this business. Bailey, would you please share with us what your ideas are?
Now, can you hear me? I'm also one of those that never gets told that no one can hear me. I'm Rachel French. This is Bailey Lyons. We are on the Downtown Chamber board, and we are excited because we are planning another downtown cleanup on Friday, April 22nd from 3 to 6 p.m. It's also Earth Day, so we're very excited to come out and just to support our community and clean up the town because we've got several new things that are happening this summer. But in our last downtown cleanup, we did do some murals that we had brought to you guys to discuss. And so we actually have 3 new ones that we would like to talk about today. Bailey does have some sketches for you that we'll pass around to you. She'll explain to you where we're going to hopefully put these murals and the artists that are involved. And then after that, I'll explain a little bit about how we're going to use this hopefully to encourage more tourism and just downtown pride.
Okay.
Yes, and I think it's worth noting that the murals from the first round have been very well received. Lots of people taking pictures in front of them. There's even been postcards made. I've seen some local businesses using them for advertising, so we were thrilled to get the positive feedback on that. So I'm going to pass a couple of these around. So the first proposed sketch is just kind of a large scale sunflowers, and it will say Fort Scott, Kansas on it, so that when people do take photographs in front of it, we'll get a tag there. And that is proposed to go on the north facing wall of Angie Dawn's boutique. So there's the old Hicks Auto building and then the green space across from Dr. Patterson's dental office and Security First Title. So the north-facing wall of that building is where this one would go. Danielle Mile.
That wall faces that vacant lot, correct?
Correct. Yes. Danielle Miles is the lead artist on this one, and she was also the lead artist on our Greetings from Fort Scott mural. That was very well done, and she's compiling a very capable team to put that together. The second one also comes out of one of the talented artists that helped us with the first mural. She was one of the lead artists on the fort-themed mural that went on the side of Iron Star. This one will be in Kansas theme, a bison. The front page on what we're passing around is her original artwork. She did that colorful elk, but she's going to make it into a bison for us to tie into Kansas. This one will also say Fort Scott, Kansas on it, and it'll have kind of a colorful Kansas sunset in the background. This one is proposed to go on the south-facing wall of the building where Margot's salon currently occupies on National. And again, she has put together a very capable team as well. Any questions on those two before I?
specifically, Margot's building, which one is that? Is that
It would be on,
the east side of National?
yes,
It would be
just down from E3.
All right.
The red wall, it's already red, which worked really well
Right.
for this.
On, it's the south wall.
Correct.
Okay, so you would see that coming north on National.
Correct. That was the goal. We didn't have any from that viewpoint yet.
And
Yeah, those 2 pages that you have are her inspiration. That page that you're handing off right now is her actual original artwork.
and the major feature on this one's going to be a bison.
Correct. And it will,
Like a polychromatic sort
Would-
of.
yes. And it will also say Fort Scott, Kansas on it.
Now, which view of this bison, or don't we know yet?
It would be one that has more of a broad view of it so that you can see the whole body. My guess
Right
is
here.
That bottom, but colorful like the top 2, I think is why she had included those.
Okay.
Okay, and then this third one, we're thrilled about all 3 of these, but this third one is very special. Bree Eden was one of our artists that was involved in the fort murals that are on the side of Iron Star. And when we concluded that project, we had a lot of discussion about, she is an art teacher at Winfield Scott here in the district, and we had a lot of discussion about that we would love to do one that included the students in the district. And so they have worked tirelessly. The 4 art teachers in the district, Winfield Scott, Eugene Ware, the middle school, and the high school. Those 4 art teachers have worked with their students, and we have come up with a literary themed design that still has a Kansas tie-in. So it incorporates the Yellow Brick Road, Wizard of Oz theme, as well as the learning tree. And then lots of other literary pieces that I'm sure you'll recognize. This, we kind of have some concepts here, but what happened is at all 4 different ages and stages, they put this idea out to their students to see. It was a very student-driven project. And then what you're seeing here is kind of a culmination of a lot of different students' artwork. And I won't pass these folders around, but we have like all kinds of drawings from the little kids of their favorite literary characters, and then the high school and middle school age students kind of put the entire concept together. And this location is still slightly up in the air. We are hoping that it will land close to the library was the goal when we started this one. That's where it makes sense. This one is most likely not going to be a permanent structure. Our idea is that it will be put on the side, like some kind of a large scale framed object that would either go on the side of a building or
it would set in front of
set
the building.
by the building. So this one would likely not be painted directly onto a building.
So what we were thinking was on the north side of the library, there's the AC units. Scoot over here. Oh, sorry, on the south side. Yeah, sorry. On the south side where the AC units are, that we could even potentially put this in front of that so that it would be at a height to where small children could also have their pictures taken with the mural. And we're just hoping that it will encourage children to read. And since the students have participated, and this really is, driven by the students and their imagination, different parts of the mural will, of course, have different aesthetics because of the age. And so, a kindergarten's drawing is going to be different than a senior in high school. So, but we'll pass this along so that you guys can see it. And then our goal, if we can do these 3 additional murals, is to create a website featuring all of the murals in downtown Fort Scott and use that as a tourist attraction. And hopefully even, this is something that we've got to talk to the city and different entities to do some type of a walking tour where we could provide a map and tourists could go around and they could see all of the different murals and learn about the students or the local artist who drew the murals and participated in that.
I have a comment.
Yes.
Grammatically, it should be those who read.
Thank you.
because bats are not people, and these are people.
Thank you.
What's the teacher?
It's-
Hey, that's okay. We appreciate
You have your niche, I have mine.
it.
Well, and I was going to ask you guys, on the ones that you're painting on the building, okay, these walls are already painted, correct? They're not like natural brick surfaces that you. The reason I ask is because I don't know if the SHPO would have an issue with coating an uncoated brick surface. So do you think they would? And the reason we ran into some issue when we were doing that downtown thing years and years ago. We wanted to coat the brick because it looks nicer, you know, and we coated it, painted, striped the mortar joints, and it looked like a brand new building. But we got some flack from SHPO about doing that because they wanted it to be natural material. But if it's already coated, I don't think they're going to.
Margot, structured by Margot, which is the one on National. It is already painted. And then is Angie Dawn's?
I don't think so.
But it's not brick, is it? Is Angie Dawn's brick? It is.
Yeah. They're both brick.
I almost would imagine that they're already coated, but we just double check and see because if maybe I would be run by them if that's like if it's not or would they care? I just don't know honestly.
You mean SHPO?
Yeah.
Well, we'll probably have to talk to SHPO about it, okay? Right. Thank you, Rick. Martha Jane, any questions or comments?
I love the enthusiasm. I have gotten some of the reverse of what you're saying, though, that too many. Is it going to be 3 a year or?
I mean, at this point in time, we have not determined. We just were coming off of the momentum of the last time and the encouraging feedback that we had gotten. And we had even been sought out by some of the local businesses that said, hey, we've seen what you've done in other areas. Is this something that you would do for us as well? And so that's when like Angie Dawn's came into play, as did Structured by Margot as well.
And those are some blank spaces too. I mean, they're ones, particularly Angie's, that face something. It's not an eyesore, but it's not anything. I mean, it would add to that area. I guess I think too much of anything can dilute rather than add.
Sure.
That would be my comment. And I love the reading one. That side of the library, in addition to having the air conditioning, also has their access, employee access, and it also has the hoses, which some people use at the library. So I'm sure you would put it back far enough that it wouldn't
interfere with those
interfere
areas.
with that.
Correct.
I don't think the area toward the corner of the library is probably big enough to. I think you would have to go
Towards the back.
the air conditioning unit. Is the bison appropriate for this area?
The bison is one of the Kansas animals. I mean,
Right,
designated.
state, right.
And the bison were long gone from here by the 1840s when the Army came. But they were here before that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they were gone when the Army established the fort in 1842. And they weren't introduced back after they were gone.
It's kind of iconic.
Right. We were going
The
along
state.
with it because of the
for
state. Yeah.
Right.
Or sunflowers.
Right. Peggy?
I'm just trying to read, are we gonna consider this streetscape, or are we gonna consider this, what does this fall under?
Well, this is
As far as the guidelines?
this is an interesting question, and I don't think it falls under the streetscape, but I think it does fall under the historic structures of the buildings.
Yes, right.
And it falls under that.
Well, just really the streetscape, it just talks about retail signs.
Right.
And that kind of thing.
Right.
It doesn't really say anything about
Murals.
murals.
No, understood.
So I'm just thinking, what are we looking at as far as guidelines here?
Well,
You know,
historically, we can go to any book whether it's Calhoun's history or Fort Scott then and now, and you will see multiple advertising, huge advertising for businesses on the sides of buildings. And when we talked about this before on Murals, I brought that up. Now, it may be a reach in the sense that this is not advertising a specific business, but it is promoting Fort Scott. So in a sense, it is advertising or promoting Fort Scott. Now that may be a reach, but it does fall under that. I would have some questions. And personally, I don't have any problem with any of these murals. My question is, I'm thinking of how the city commission is going to react, okay? And there are no sizes. There are no specifics on the physical size and things like that, because that would come to mind as a city commissioner, okay, I would think. And the sunflower and the bison, okay, affixed to the wall. And this, especially this one, I would politely suggest we need more specifics on the size of the frame and how it's going to be mounted and what it's going to be made from. I know I'm getting into some minutia, but these are details that I think the commission would ask.
And we are planning on presenting to them tomorrow.
Well, but they're going to want to know, and at this point,
Those are really big walls, too. I didn't
Right.
know,
Well,
thinking about,
no, understood.
yeah,
And
Is there any way that you guys could like take a photograph of the wall and then like superimpose the artwork onto the wall and scale it, play with the scale of?
I could with the bison drawing, just because I have access to that art file because I printed a T-shirt with it, so I could do that.
a comment I would have on the bison.
I think you're going to want to know for your own, at some point you're going to want to know to produce this piece of work on the building.
Right.
You're going to know how big it's going to be.
Right.
Grab that.
And I would say that Angie Dawn's building would also be an easier area that we could figure out if I could just scan in what Danielle had drawn. When we were talking about the library, how many sheets were you thinking that we would?
Well, we had discussed, what did we say, 16 by 20?
Yeah.
20 sheets of,
No, 16 by 20 feet.
okay, 16 by 20. Okay.
Maybe to be able to photograph once again to show how much of that wall would be covered. I mean, not, that one sounds like it's the most up in the air. Just because of the kids.
Yes, it is. The other two would be easier for us to, even
Right.
by tomorrow, have a
But
mock-up.
I think, I may be wrong about this, but I think it's a little premature to take these to the city commission the way they are, in the sense of the absence of details. Now, the next city commission meeting is when?
Tomorrow.
No. After that.
My guess would be that it would be
19th.
after our event. Yeah.
The 19th of April.
And it's after your event. You want to have these
It's just
up.
days before our event, because when we did the previous murals, it took so much time with the supply chain issue of getting paint in. We really were cutting it close for that particular one. So it was a decision that was made to try and do this on Earth Day, which didn't give us as much time as we had hoped. And so since we had previously done the murals, we were hoping, and we didn't have sizes when we did the last ones either.
Okay, all right.
But also, we're part of the push to do it a little sooner too was we had groups ask us to do another one in advance of 3 events that are going to bring a lot of people to town this summer: Big Kansas Road Trip, which is the beginning of May,
Right.
All Class Reunion, and Good Old Days. So
Okay,
I mean, what are you worried about? Because I would say this: the people who are doing it are kind of artsy folks, so they should have an idea in their mind about
no,
proportion
no,
and
I
scale.
understand that. I'm just,
What's your concern?
my concern is there's not enough information here, logistically or detailed wise, to present it to the commission.
other than size, what else are you?
Well, for instance, on this one, size.
Do you guys even need to approve that one if it's not going on a building? Like if we took that
If
one
it's
off
not
the
a permanent
table,
structure.
if it's not a permanent structure, it's not going on a building, and we
No,
took that
but
one
it's,
off the table.
it's a structure going in the historic district. And it would be even though it's a frame, you know, it's still a structure. And yes, I think we would be involved or should be involved.
Is it
Now,
more like
I am not,
Is it more like a sign?
I'm not
almost?
saying I don't like the idea, okay? I like the concept and I like everything about the murals.
Well, I think that if they can put together a concept of at least one of the bison or
Sure.
whatever,
Well, but
size-wise,
Right.
and on that, I mean, that's a huge wall. So how is, I mean, is this gonna be a little bitty thing? And, you know, I understand what he's trying to say. The size thing here is important because that's a huge wall, especially at Angie Dawn's. If this thing is gonna be small, then it's gonna be useless.
Angie Dawn's would fill in the whole
Angie
space.
Dawn's would be quite large.
okay,
Okay.
and again,
And we have given some creative liberty to the artists here too, as Rick mentioned, to,
sure.
you know, figure out what scale they feel like works best with their designs. Obviously, we want it to look
All
good,
right.
and so do they.
What I would ask of you, the city commission meeting is tomorrow evening, okay? The board members, if it's convenient, we could meet again tomorrow afternoon. But in the next 24 hours, could you put together some specifics on the size and photographs, and even with this one, it doesn't have to be huge, but do a drawing of the frame and what it's going to consist of. And,
You're in college.
and bring that to us. And then,
The only thing that I would say, Arnold, is that Bailey and I both donate our time. So we both run businesses and we've got different things that we have to do. Would it be impossible for one? No, probably not. I could probably do the bison one and show you that just because I have the original artwork and that building is very close to where we work.
okay, that
It's-
would be
it's
fine
also-
because of the two, the one that's most critical to me is not the sunflower. The sunflower is fine the way it's illustrated and everything, but the bison would take just a little bit more work. Pick the one out you want and say it's going to be colored and blow it up.
We can't exactly pick out the one that we want because the artist has to do her drawing. We have the elk, and that's what she had done.
And she also has brought an artist on with her, which, mind you, these artists are volunteering their time as
No,
well.
understood.
She has brought an artist on with her that specifically does animal art and taxidermy to make sure that this is very realistic and accurate. And so if we're going to micromanage their designs, then I'm politely going to
No,
say thank
I'm
you for
not
your time.
saying
but
to
no thanks.
micromanage them. I'm just politely saying that if you take pieces of what you have given us,
If you want us to take one of those pictures of a bison and you know, put
blow
it
it
on
up,
that wall with measurements, that can be done.
that's
if
what
you
that's
want
what
the-
I'm suggesting. I don't mean it have to be detailed to color. and you can suggest on the drawing that it's going to be colored per the artist's discretion and things like that.
Yeah, because it may be a thing where, as much as not so much the actual infill of the art is what's important, but maybe the aspect ratio of the art on the wall, right? And the fact that you're going to be adding some text to the bison picture, I believe, right?
Correct, down at the bottom.
So maybe instead of focusing, and I know you guys, yeah, it always takes time to do this stuff, but it would be helpful for you as well, I think, or for your artist. Well, not necessarily the weeds of like the detail, the color of the buffalo, and that part of it. It's more of like the concept of this piece of work on a building wall is probably something they're gonna have to think of it eventually anyway, right? So maybe I think that's probably the most concerning thing, would be like, how does the artwork fill the space? Because, like this one, for some reason, it feels easier to me to go, oh yeah, I can see that on a building in Fort Scott, because, buildings tend to be kind of more like low rise and horizontal, but then I look at the one that's more of a portrait ratio, and I think, oh, is that gonna look kind of
So
That's a
it would
square.
actually be a landscape, because what Callie drew there was intended for her own personal use. So when this mural actually goes up, it's more of a landscape, not a portrait.
That is a pretty square
okay.
building, pretty
Right.
square wall.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
would that be, I guess I'm trying to make it so that they're gonna do something, it doesn't take them forever.
No, that's fine. I'm just suggesting that is going to fly by the city commission a lot quicker. And the other thing, I wish you had come to us with this 6 weeks ago. Because what you've done is you've put yourself in a bind with your deadline wanting it on the 19th of April,
22nd.
the 20, whatever it is. Today's the 4th. So
We're well aware we have a to-do list about a mile long
No,
to accomplish,
no,
other than this before the 22nd, to pull off that large-scale community
understood,
event.
and it's just, but that didn't happen. This is what we're faced with right now, and whatever you could put together per our conversation by 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
That, I don't think that's enough time with the city commission meeting at 6. That's not enough time for the commissioners to get that information, in my opinion, get it
Well-
back uploaded in an agenda packet. I mean, that's my opinion, and trying to get minutes typed for them. But they're already scheduled on the agenda under appearance. I think Bailey and Craig Campbell are scheduled under there. And I know Bailey's already talked, they've already visited with the city manager about this, so.
And a few of the commissioners.
It's hard to publish a meeting today that's gonna happen tomorrow.
No, understood. My
and to get
mistake.
people
It's just,
Schedules.
I wish there were more details, and there aren't. And if you tried to lay your groundwork with the city commission and the city manager, I can understand that. But I'm surprised that they didn't ask questions when you were talking to them about it, about wanting more details. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Has there been a certificate of appropriateness filled out with the details on it?
No,
Not yet.
no.
Maybe we should just take this off none of this came up the first time. And I think we have two beautiful murals that a lot of artists collaborated on, and it has asked any of the businesses where those are, and they've had increased foot traffic, lots of photographs, so if it's going to be a problem, we'll just take it off.
We don't, it's not that the murals are a problem.
Well,
that's not it.
We are where we are. It's today. We can do our best to get you what we can by tomorrow, but if that's not good enough, we're not going to keep spinning our wheels, nor are we going to ask the artists to continue to put more time into this. So,
and it was something to where we had always planned on the annual event, like the downtown cleanup being in, closer to time, like August, but we were hit up very early this year because of all of the major events this summer. So we were just trying to get something done before people came to town.
Okay. If that's the case, and you are giving us that ultimatum or alternative, okay?
I'm not trying to give you an ultimatum. I'm saying if it's a problem that is insurmountable, then I'm not going to keep putting more time into it, nor am I going to ask the artist. So I'm not trying to give you an ultimatum. It just
We're
sounds
just
like
saying we'll
it
do
is
it
what it
whenever.
is.
So maybe this could be a next year thing, maybe when the next year.
No,
I think that it is unfortunate, and I mean, I'm just gonna tell you from somebody who has a business downtown, we were really looking forward to having these murals, and I think if the young people of Fort Scott continue to see opposition from the
We are
public,
not-
they're not gonna want to do it. Is
we
the
are
big
not
thing.
opposed to the murals.
It's the process. I can speak as the newest member. These are all the people who've been on this committee for forever. And it's not just you all, it's I think everything that has come before this committee has been different sort of thing. Our sign is up on our building. Our sign is up on our new business. New business, great. And now we're asking, is it okay? It's like this process has been out of whack for so long that it's not being followed anymore. And it's not just you all, it's everybody.
Well,
It's everybody.
I would respectfully ask you to please not take that out on us. We are here in
No,
advance.
No,
We are-
we're not.
No, Bailey, because the enthusiasm, but please don't put on us that we are anti-progress in downtown Fort Scott, because we're not. We're not. Please don't put on us that because we're older, that we are not pro Fort Scott, because it's far easier for somebody my age to think about all the reasons why, as I've shared with you, all the reasons why I shouldn't be here. So I wasn't here this morning, had to leave to go out of town for a medical situation. But there is a process, and it's just not being followed.
And we do understand that, and we do apologize that it wasn't a longer process. It was one of those things to where, once again, we were given a very short deadline by suggestions of, can we do this before the event?
And specifically, can we get more murals before these events?
So we also don't have a lot of time.
Well, no.
We're in the same predicament that you guys are, and so I think that we're just very
Okay,
passionate. You
then-
guys are
then
passionate.
what we-
I will say, without question, I have 100% confidence in the artist's ability to pull off these murals. I do not feel like they're rushing that part of things. I would love to see them go up. I'm completely confident in their ability to put them up. We will do our best to get you a scale ratio by tomorrow.
Well, but it won't be for us. Any scale ratio or any other information size-wise, when you go to the commission, or get it to Diane as soon as you can, because then she can put it in a package that she gives to the commissioners before the meeting. And I don't know when you give those packages out, Diane.
They were given out last Friday.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Also, we've had other city staff that is no longer here with us. One of those people did create a mural proposal form, which I believe you guys probably filled this out last time, maybe when she was here, or
No, because that's a
Although
picture of our
that's
mural.
One of our murals used on there, but
action. Yeah, it is, isn't it? But they do. The city has a mural form which was approved by the commission. So
Okay, how long ago was that approved?
within the last 2 years,
Okay.
maybe.
All right,
It was when Allison Turkey was here. She did that.
Diane,
But
each member of the board should have that.
yes, we'll
Okay.
make copies of it.
So we should have that for
Okay.
future reference, which we've not had. Now,
this simply says, if possible, please include a photo of the proposed location, which we can certainly have that for you. If you have a mock-up of the proposed mural, please include that with your submission, which we've given you. So aside from a photo of the locations that we discussed tonight and approximate measurements, what else would you?
well, those are details, and this one especially, because it's gonna be on a frame. You know, what's the frame gonna consist of? What's the fabric of the mural itself going to be? Is it gonna be painted plywood or something else? But these are things, if you could answer those for the commission tomorrow. Now, what we can do, okay, per our discussion, okay, I can ask the board to, someone on the board, to make a motion to either recommend or not recommend as submitted. Okay? Now, let me offer this for y'all. Whatever the decision is, if it's not to recommend as submitted, that does not preclude you from going to City Commission tomorrow night and doing your presentation at all. Okay? You can do that. That doesn't mean that you have to come back to us or anything like that. I am not going to be presumptuous to suggest on how these board members should vote. But I just wanted you to understand, whatever the result is, we do not approve. We recommend or not recommend to the City Commission. And the suggestions we've made to you are suggestions, I think, which would help you in your presentation to the City Commission tomorrow night.
I mean, it's just
Per this, it says that, which this is new to us, but it says that the approval would be routed through, I mean, you respectfully, you guys aren't mentioned
We're not
on here.
on
It
this.
says that it would be routed through community development and tourism and the
Well,
city manager for final approval.
We weren't.
I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just saying.
Thank you. We weren't even aware of this. It hasn't
Nor were
even been
we.
presented to us in draft form, which it should have been, but it wasn't. So there's nothing we can do about that now. But I guarantee you, when we each get a copy of this, we will read it, and then we will go to the city administrator, city manager, and suggest that maybe some changes be made to it. But this is a moot point because you weren't aware of it either, so that's why it hasn't been filled out or submitted. And
This is definitely a problem here.
but that's not your situation. That's our situation we're going to have to deal with. Now, having said that, does someone on the board, because the chair cannot make a motion, does someone on the board choose to make a motion to either recommend or not recommend to the city commission as submitted?
Well, I don't think we have a choice, Arnold. I mean,
Yeah, if it's not, they had been submitted, there's not even a.
well, and if, you know, if this is the city's guidelines on murals, the whole thing is wrong. So at this point, I don't think we have any choice but to go ahead and recommend it and just hope, I mean, I hope you can do something so that the city commissioners will have an idea what this thing is gonna look like. The thing that bothers me is those big long walls. And I know artists will do it for 30 years and they will have an idea, but the people that are making these city commissioners are not gonna have any idea of how that is gonna look because of the size of the walls and all. So I would hope that they, hopefully some of them are gonna be smart enough to realize that, okay, we need to know how this thing is gonna look on there. But
Well,
I don't think we have any choice but to go ahead and approve it at this point.
Okay, that
I'll make that motion.
motion's been made to recommend to the city commission these murals as submitted. Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. You have your murals, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But we now have a problem because of this, and we'll take care of it.
They're great. Girls did a good job.
Thank you.
Oh, well, I was gonna say one other thing, guys. The ones that you put by the air conditioners.
Yes.
Talk to like Stones or somebody. Make sure that you've got enough clearance.
For the
Yeah, the airflow.
For the air.
and everything
The
like that.
airflow and also maintenance around them. They usually get about 3 feet around them for a guy to get in there and fuss with them.
I will talk to them. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Diane, when was this thing?
Like I said, Allie Turvey was here probably a good year or two ago, possibly.
This is the problem we have.
Well, it's just,
You know.
but this doesn't go out to anybody, does it?
No, I mean, no, it would
So
go.
this is nothing, in my opinion.
But it is something because it's symptomatic of,
It is, yes, it's symptomatic of the whole
But
problem.
it's
The whole
not, it hasn't
thing.
been, it's
It
not
does,
part
no,
of
but
our
it
deal.
doesn't include us in anything. You know, the tourism director could have approved this thing, wouldn't have even ever come to us, even though it's gonna be on a historic building and affect, you know.
And Bailey's, seen her ever?
murals approved become part of the City of Fort Scott Public Art Collection. What is that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Recommend.
Yeah,
it's all,
yeah, this is gobbledygook.
Yeah,
We need-
said,
but it looks good.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
remind you, you have another presentation in front of you.
right, thank
Okay.
you.
Sorry.
In a minute.
More of that.
Recommend.
And you're also one of the.
Say good stuff.
Yes.
Nobody watches it.
You'd be surprised. You would be surprised.
Well, how did, yeah, okay, we'll talk about this afterwards, sorry.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we gotta do it.
Okay, Mrs. Rollins, please.
Thank you.
No.
Whatever. You can be removed. I'm Ann Rollins. I'm the librarian at the Old Fort Genealogical Society. And for over 25 years, Shirley Hurd has been working on a project. Together, we were able to come to a conclusion with this project, and now we're coming to you. So the project is the Mayhew Cemetery. This was a cemetery that was mainly Black folks that were poor. Some had headstones, most of them just had stones, but they were bulldozed out of the area. We've actually talked to someone who was part of that. And so the cemetery looks like a field now. We do have a moratorium in place. The state archaeologist has been involved, and now Mayhew 1 and Mayhew 2 have been cited. We have 177 names that are attached to that cemetery. Our goal, and we have the funds to do it now, is to put up a plaque that lists all of those that we know were buried in the cemetery. We think there's probably around 400 that could possibly be buried there. We may never know the other names. These are the ones we could find in the newspaper or families. What we would like to do is put the plaque up at Scubitz Plaza. So, and I'm sorry, I found out about this at 2:30 this afternoon, so didn't have time to put together anything. If you can picture the Scubitz Plaza and you have the tables and benches on the south end of it, and go to the north end where the brick stops, there's a flower bed on the west side. It's kind of meanders a bit and raised. And then you have the entrance to that area on the east side of it. So we would like to put the plaque in that area right at the end of the brick so that we don't have people walking in the lawn.
Would be the east end or the west end?
It's on the east end next to the road. So then you've got just that little road and then you're at the fort. So
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Where was the cemetery?
Okay, all right.
By the wastewater
What-
treatment plant.
Oh, really?
On North, yeah.
Where was it?
By the wastewater treatment plant.
Oh,
Right.
Yep.
And it's all on, it's on city property. Again, I know you just 2:30 this afternoon, you learned about it or whatever. Where I'm going with this is a certificate of appropriateness, because this is a sign, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the certificate of appropriateness should be filled out. Now, when it's filled out, okay, I would politely suggest that, because it's a form, okay?
Okay, and this is the first time hearing about it,
Okay,
so we will
okay,
get it.
but that's fine.
Yeah.
Once you see the form, people often add additional pages, okay?
Mhm.
Now, I'm not asking or suggesting a complete history of the Mayhew Cemetery. What I'm suggesting is two basic things. One, a map that shows where this sign is going to go.
And we can do that.
Okay, all right. Number two, the text of what that exhibit sign is going to say.
We already have that.
Okay, but this should be put together.
Well, wait, number three, do a diagram of the sign that shows the size of it and how it will be mounted.
We know the
Right.
size.
Okay, but yeah,
It's
No.
36 inches wide,
Okay.
30 inches tall.
okay.
We already know that.
36
And it's
by what?
brass. 36 inches wide, 30 inches tall. It'll be mounted at an angle on a post.
400 names on 36 by 30?
No, 177.
Oh,
Okay, but a sketch or drawing, our architect, what he just
Well, that
asked
makes
for,
sense, or at least-
would be a third thing to
Mhm.
show us. In other words, the perspective of the angle, the post, and what it's going to consist of.
Right.
Okay? If you could put that together with a certificate of appropriateness, okay,
Okay.
and take that certificate with the additional information we've just described. We're describing detailed information like we just tried to describe to the murals. And you put that whole package together
Mhm.
and bring it to us,
Okay.
okay?
Do you meet the first Monday?
No,
Oh,
we meet on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, so
Now-
you would be doing it when we
In other words, if you were to get the information to Diane by the end of the week,
Mhm.
okay?
Mhm.
Then she has to publish when we're going to have a meeting.
Right.
And so it would be probably done before the next city commission meeting.
That would be great.
What about approval from the fort also? I'm not sure how much of that land is city-owned versus
No,
the
no,
fort has some.
no, where this is going on city property.
I think we just need to double check that and just
Okay,
make sure.
well, we can check, but once we receive the information, okay?
Yes.
And we don't have to check with Schipple on this.
No.
It's a wayside exhibit, it's a sign. We can
right.
handle it here.
Right.
Once we receive the information, then I'll be happy to take it to the acting superintendent at the fort and explain it to him, show it to him. And personally, I don't think there'll be a problem because there are other wayside exhibits already on Scuba's Plaza, okay?
Right. Yes, and
But
we
if
want
you,
it to be
if
like
you'd be
those.
so kind
Mhm.
as to provide us with that information, those three things.
Mhm.
And
And then I'll get a hold of Diane when I get the material
when you get the
together.
material together, and she'll give you a certificate of appropriateness today.
I was just brought that.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Then fill that out, and again, you don't have to go into a complete history of the Mayhew Cemetery, because what you're doing is showing what is going to be on that wayside exhibit.
Right.
And that's very brief. And if you're going to include a map on the wayside exhibit as to the location, then include that. Okay?
Okay. I have a question. We would like to not only do this brass plaque, and it's beautiful. I already have a colored photo of what it's going to look like and the whole thing, so that's easy for me to get for you guys. What we would like to do is explain what Mayhew Cemetery is. It's the forgotten cemetery.
Well, but this you can put on the text.
No, we won't have room to tell the story on this plaque. There's 177 names, plus a header and a bottom.
Okay.
So what we'd like to do is be able to have one of the signs, like is down there already, a picture story of what Mayhew Cemetery is, and contact, we would tell a short story. Like, Shirley and I have done these
Okay.
long stories,
All
but
right.
we can do a short story
right.
because people need to know what the plaque is. When
Okay.
we talk to people, we have never had anybody say, "Oh yeah, I know what Mayhew Cemetery is."
Here's an easy answer to that, okay?
Okay.
Now, the one you're talking about is gonna be a fully brass plaque with names on it, okay?
Right.
I'm gonna politely suggest you do a second exhibit panel,
Mhm.
similar to the ones that are up there now.
That's what I was
That are a
saying.
storyboard,
Yes.
and when you submit that certificate of appropriateness, indicate that there are gonna be 2 exhibit panels.
Right.
One will contain the names of the cemetery, of the individuals in the cemetery.
Mhm.
And the other one will be, your words, a storyboard with photographs and things like that, and a map, and that's fine.
We won't include a map. We will not include a location.
Well, okay, that's up to y'all.
That's right.
But you submit that
Mm-hmm.
as a second wayside exhibit or sign, and that covers them both.
Okay.
And there's space at the east end of Skubitz Plaza to handle 2 more wayside exhibits like that are already there. But
Yeah.
It's a bronze plaque or a brass plaque?
It's, you know what? It's bronze. And I
bronze,
said
okay.
brass, didn't I?
Brass.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it's bronze. And we wanted to do marble, but our concern is whether somebody would break it.
Bronze or brass?
Right.
Yeah.
And you could probably come up with an estimate on this second exhibit panel. I think the city or the chamber put in those other 3 that are on Skubitz Plaza now. Right when you get to the end, you'll see them on the end of Main Street. And you ought to be able to do, and don't quote me on this, but you ought to be able to do a panel like that today for under $500 or $600.
And that's great because that's what we have budgeted already.
Right, for the second one.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The first one is going to be about $5,000 plus post. And we have to figure that out because we were told things with two previous city managers that the city would do the post and the brackets and all that sort of stuff to put it up. We want it to look like the others. We want it to look like a cohesive area.
Right, well, they should, even though it's bronze, it's going to be mounted on a frame.
Right.
And the frame should be compatible with the others that are
Absolutely.
already there.
Absolutely.
Just like the second one, storyboard, should be compatible.
That's
okay?
right. Yes.
So if you could do all of that,
Mhm.
and then bring it back with a certificate and the other material, give it to Diane, she will get in touch and have a meeting, okay?
Okay. And it would be 2 separate certificates, even though it's the same subject?
No, one certificate, and you can have 2 parts of that certificate.
Okay. Okay. That
A
works.
deals with the bronze, B deals with the storyboard and wayside exhibit.
Okay.
But include drawings of both
Mhm.
and a photograph of specifically where you want to put them,
Right. And we can do that.
okay?
Yeah.
All right, if you're happy with that, thank you much.
That works for me.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
How about if we do a motion to adjourn first?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I second.
All in favor? That's your part.
Motion's been made to adjourn and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, shut those